Get down. The shout came too late. A loud crash exploded through the building as glass shattered across the executive floor. Joon barely ducked in time, his shoulder slamming against the wall as something heavy struck the window behind him. Silence followed. Not calm silence. The kind that feels like something worse is coming. His assistant was shaking. "Sir, that wasn't an accident." Joon's jaw tightened. Of course it was. This was the third warning in 2 days. First, the anonymous message. Then the missing funds. Now this. Someone wasn't just targeting his company. They were hunting him. "Who is handling this?" Joon asked coldly. The assistant hesitated. "There's only one person recommended." Joon didn't look at him. "Then bring them in." Another pause. "Sir, you might not like it." That made him turn. "Do I look like I have a choice?" The assistant swallowed. "No, sir." 3 months earlier, the restaurant was alive with laughter. Soft music, expensive suits, perfect smiles. And right in the middle of it, Sasha stood holding a tray, watching her entire world collapse. "Say it properly," Joon said, his voice low but sharp. "You're fired." The words didn't hit immediately. They sank slowly, like something heavy dragging her down. Sasha blinked once. "For what?" Joon didn't even look at her. "You embarrassed me." Her fingers tightened around the tray. "In what way?" That made him turn slightly. And when he did, there was no warmth in his eyes. "You don't know how to behave around people of this level." A quiet ripple passed through the guests nearby. Sasha felt it. Every stare. Every silent judgment. "You mean I spoke?" she asked. Joon let out a short, cold breath. "I mean you forgot your place." That one line landed harder than anything else. But she didn't break. Not here. Not in front of them. "So this is about status?" she asked quietly. Joon stepped closer, lowered his voice, just enough so only she could hear. "You were never meant to stand beside me, Sasha." That was it. That was the moment. Something inside her shifted. A woman walked over then. Elegant, controlled, perfect. She slid her hand into Joon's arm like it belonged there. "Is everything all right?" she asked sweetly. Joon nodded. "It is now." Sasha didn't look at them. She placed the tray down carefully, removed her apron, and folded it. Slowly. Deliberately. Then she looked at him. Not angry. Not crying. Just calm. "You're right," she said. Joon frowned slightly. "I was never meant to stand beside you." He didn't expect agreement. And that unsettled him more than anger would have. Sasha picked up her bag, turned, and walked out. That night, she didn't cry, didn't call anyone, didn't beg. She sat in silence, then reached for her phone, dialed a number she hadn't touched in years. It rang once, twice. Then, "I was wondering when you'd call." Sasha closed her eyes. They crossed the line. A pause. Then the voice on the other end shifted. Colder. More serious. "Are you ready to step back in?" Her grip tightened. This wasn't a small decision. This wasn't just revenge. This was a return. "Yes," she said quietly. "I'm ready." Back to present. Joon stood in the conference room, waiting. The tension in the air was thick. Even his top executives looked uneasy. "Who exactly are we meeting?" one of them asked. Joon adjusted his cuff. "Someone who can fix this problem." The door opened, and everything changed. Footsteps. Slow. Controlled. Confident. Joon didn't look immediately. He didn't need to. The entire room had already gone silent. He turned. and froze. No, that wasn't possible. Standing at the entrance, dressed in power, not survival, was Sasha. But she wasn't alone. Two men stood slightly behind her. Not bodyguards. Something else. Their presence alone made the room uneasy. Joon's voice came out low. "What is this?" Sasha walked in. Each step measured. Each movement controlled. Until she stopped across from him and looked straight into his eyes. No softness. No hesitation. Just distance. "You requested help," she said calmly. Joon's chest tightened. "This is a joke." Sasha tilted her head slightly. "Does it look like one?" No one spoke. No one moved. Because something about her presence didn't match the girl they remembered. "You," Joon said under his breath. Sasha ignored the tone. Instead, she placed a file on the table. "You have 72 hours, she said, "to fix what you've already lost." One of the executives leaned forward. "Excuse me, who are you exactly?" Sasha didn't look at him. Her eyes stayed on Joon. "He knows." Joon clenched his jaw. "No," he said, "I don't." That was a lie. And they both knew it. Sasha leaned forward slightly, lowered her voice just enough. "So you don't remember the world you tried to keep me away from." That hit hard. Because suddenly, pieces started connecting. The call. The rumors. The name that kept coming up in whispers. An organization no one wanted to cross. Joon's expression darkened. "You're working with them." Sasha straightened. "Working," she repeated. Then a faint smile appeared. "No." She stepped closer. And for the first time, there was a flicker of something dangerous in her eyes. "They work with me." Silence. Complete. Heavy. Joon felt it then. Something unfamiliar. Not anger. Not control. But something worse. Uncertainty. "You're in trouble, Joon," Sasha continued calmly. "Your company is being targeted." "I know that," he snapped. She didn't react. "You don't know why," she corrected. That shut him up. Sasha tapped the file lightly. "They're not after your company." She paused. "They're after you." And for the first time, Joon realized this wasn't just a business problem. This was personal. Sasha stepped back, reclaiming distance, reclaiming control. "You humiliated me in front of everyone," she said quietly. The room tensed. Joon didn't speak. "You made it clear I didn't belong in your world." Her voice stayed calm, but the weight behind it was undeniable. She met his eyes one last time. And now, a slight pause, just enough to let it sink in. "You don't survive in this one without me." Joon didn't respond immediately. Not because he had nothing to say, but because for the first time in a long time, he wasn't in control of the room. "You expect me to believe this," he said finally. Sasha didn't blink. "I expect you to decide whether you want to survive." Silence. One of the executives leaned in. "Mr. Joon, if she knows something, we should." "Enough," Joon cut in sharply. His eyes stayed locked on Sasha. "You said they're after me," he said. "Who?" Sasha studied him for a second, like she was measuring something. Not his words, but his worth. Then she opened the file and slid it toward him. "Read." Joon flipped it open. At first, nothing made sense. Transactions. Names. Locations. Then, his hand paused. A name. One he hadn't seen in years. His expression changed. "No," he said quietly. Sasha watched him carefully. "You recognize it." Joon closed the file slowly. That's impossible. Is it? She asked. Joon shook his head. He's gone. That whole thing ended years ago. Sasha's voice dropped slightly. People like that don't just disappear, Joon. A heavy silence settled. Because deep down, he knew that was true. Explain, he said. Sasha didn't rush. They're rebuilding, she said, quietly, strategically. And me. She met his gaze. You were part of something you shouldn't have been. Joon's jaw tightened. That was business. Sasha's eyes sharpened. No, she said softly. That was a mistake. The room shifted again. Because this wasn't just about money anymore. This was history. Dangerous history. They've already started, Sasha continued. The attacks, the missing funds, the pressure. She leaned slightly closer. That's just the beginning. Joon's voice lowered. What do they want? Sasha didn't answer immediately. Instead, she stepped back, creating distance again. They want you to remember, she said. Joon exhaled sharply. This doesn't make sense. Sasha's expression didn't change. It will, she said. When they take something you can't get back. That line stayed in the air longer than the rest. What do we do? One of the executives asked nervously. Sasha finally looked at the rest of the room. For now. A pause. You listen. She closed the file, then turned slightly toward Joon. From this moment on, she said calmly, you don't make a move without me knowing. Joon let out a short, humorless laugh. You think you're in charge? Sasha didn't react. She simply held his gaze. And waited. Not arguing. Not proving. Just waiting. And slowly, that confidence started to feel real. Joon looked away first. Fine, he said. Not because he trusted her, but because something told him. Ignoring her would be worse. Good, Sasha replied. Then she turned to leave. Just like that. Wait. She stopped. Didn't turn immediately. What? She asked. Joon hesitated. Something in him resisted asking. But he did anyway. Why are you helping me? Sasha finally turned. And for a brief second, something flickered in her eyes. Not softness. Not yet. But something human. You asked for help, she said. That's not an answer. She studied him, then gave one. Because I want to be there, she said quietly. When you understand what you did. That hit deeper than anger. Later that night, Joon sat alone in his office. The city lights stretched endlessly outside the glass walls. But for once, they didn't feel powerful. They felt distant. Unreachable. His phone buzzed. Unknown number. He stared at it for a second. Then answered. Hello. A voice came through. Calm. Cold. You've been busy, Joon. His body stiffened instantly. That voice. No. It couldn't be. You should have stayed out of it, the voice continued. Joon's grip tightened. What do you want? A soft chuckle. You already know. The line went dead. Joon didn't move. Because now, everything Sasha said was real. The next morning, Sasha stood by the window of a quiet office. Not Joon. Somewhere else. Somewhere controlled. One of the men from earlier stepped in. They made contact, he said. Sasha nodded slightly. Of course they did. You think he's ready? Sasha's gaze stayed on the city. No. A pause. But he doesn't have a choice. The man crossed his arms. And you? Sasha didn't answer immediately. Then, I didn't come back for him, she said. Her voice was calm. Controlled. But there was something underneath it. Something unresolved. Back at the company, Joon walked into the conference room. This time, he wasn't the first one there. Sasha was already seated. Calm. Composed. Like she belonged there. He stopped for a second, watching her, trying to understand how everything changed so fast. "You're early," he said. Sasha didn't look up from the documents. "You're late," she replied. Same tone. Same distance. "This situation," he started. "How bad is it really?" Sasha finally looked up. And for the first time, she didn't hold back. "It's worse than you think," she said. Joon's chest tightened slightly. "Define worse." Sasha held his gaze. "They won't stop at your company." A pause. "They'll take everything." Another pause. Piece by piece. Joon leaned back slowly. Processing. Then, "Why didn't you warn me earlier?" Sasha didn't hesitate. "You didn't listen to me when it mattered." That landed clean. Sharp. Silence followed. But it wasn't empty. It was heavy, with everything unsaid between them. Joon looked at her again. Different this time. Not as someone beneath him. Not as someone he could dismiss. But as someone he didn't fully understand anymore. "You've changed," he said quietly. Sasha didn't react. "No," she replied. "I just stopped pretending." And for the first time since she walked back into his life, Joon felt it clearly. Not just regret. Not just tension. But something deeper. Something more dangerous. He was starting to see her again. And this time, he didn't have the power to walk away. Sasha closed the file. Stood up. "We start now," she said. Joon frowned slightly. "Start what?" She looked at him. Direct. Unshaken. "Fixing your mistake." Joon didn't respond. He just watched her walk away. And for the first time, those words didn't sound like advice. They sounded like a warning. 2 nights later, the first real hit came. Not a warning. Not a message. A collapse. "Sir, we have a problem." Joon looked up sharply as his assistant rushed in, pale. "Our main account frozen. Every transaction is blocked." Joon stood immediately. "That's not possible." "It is," the assistant said, voice shaking. "And it's spreading. Our partners are pulling out." Joon's mind moved fast. Too fast. "This is coordinated," he muttered. Then, his phone buzzed. He didn't hesitate this time. He answered. "Talk." A familiar voice responded. Calm. Controlled. "You're running out of time." Joon's grip tightened. "Show yourself." A soft chuckle. "You're not in a position to make demands." The line went dead. Joon didn't waste another second. "Sasha," he said. She arrived within minutes. Not rushed. Not panicked. Just ready. "You're late," she said as she walked into his office. Joon almost snapped back, but stopped himself. "Everything's frozen," he said instead. "Accounts, partners, deals gone." Sasha nodded once. "They've started phase 2. Joon frowned. "Phase 2. She stepped closer. "They're not trying to scare you anymore." A pause. "They're trying to break you." Joon exhaled slowly. "Who is he?" he asked. "Enough of this." Sasha held his gaze. Then finally, she answered. "Han Seok." The name hit like a shockwave. Joon's expression darkened instantly. "No," he said. Sasha didn't look away. "You remember." Joon turned slightly, packing once. "That man disappeared after the investigation. His network collapsed." Sasha's voice stayed calm. "No," she said. "It went quiet." Joon stopped moving. Because now, everything was connecting. The deals, the hidden accounts, the things he agreed to years ago. Just to climb faster. I cut ties, he said. Sasha's eyes didn't soften. You benefited first. That landed. Clean. Heavy. Joon ran a hand through his hair. What does he want? Sasha didn't hesitate. You. Silence. He wants to rebuild, she continued. And you're either going to help him. A slight pause. Or become the example. Joon let out a slow breath. Then we fight. Sasha studied him. And for the first time, she stepped closer without distance. You don't fight him directly, she said quietly. Joon frowned. Why not? Because you already lost that game once. That hit harder than he expected. So what do we do? He asked. Sasha's voice dropped slightly. We make him come to us. That night, everything moved fast. Controlled chaos. Sasha gave orders like someone who had done this before. Not guessing. Not reacting. Executing. Leak the false recovery report, she said. One of the men nodded. Done. Move the remaining assets quietly, no patterns. Already in motion. Joon watched all of it. And slowly, something shifted. This wasn't luck. This wasn't chance. This was control. You've done this before, he said quietly. Sasha didn't look at him. Yes. Hours passed. Then, the trap triggered. A message came through. Encrypted. Direct. Sasha read it. Then handed the screen to Joon. Read. Joon's eyes scanned quickly. Then stopped. A location. A time. And one line. Come alone. Joon looked up. He's confident. Sasha shook her head slightly. No, she said. He's curious. Then we end this, Joon said. Sasha held his gaze. No, she corrected. We survive it. The location. An abandoned structure on the edge of the city. Dark. Quiet. Waiting. Joon stepped inside first. Every step echoing. Every shadow feeling alive. You came. The voice appeared from the darkness. Then the man stepped forward. Older. Calm. Dangerous without trying. Han Seok, Joon said. The man smiled slightly. You look less certain than before. Joon didn't respond. You built something impressive, Han Seok continued. A slow step forward. Shame it's about to disappear. You won't touch it, Joon said. Han Seok's smile widened slightly. I already have. Then, another set of footsteps. Han Seok's expression changed. Just slightly. Sasha stepped into the light. Calm. Unshaken. You always were impatient, she said. Han Seok's eyes narrowed. So this is where you've been. Sasha tilted her head slightly. Watching. Joon glanced at her briefly. You said. I said you wouldn't fight him directly, she replied calmly. Han Seok chuckled. You think you can outplay me? Sasha didn't react. I already did. A pause. Then, sirens. Distant. Growing louder. Han Seok's expression shifted. Just enough. You exposed yourself, Sasha said. Every move you made, tracked. She stepped closer. This time, you don't disappear. For the first time. Han Seok wasn't smiling. Joon watched it all. And slowly, he understood. This wasn't revenge through anger. This was something else. Something colder. Something precise. Han Seok stepped back. Then another. Calculating. But it was too late. Game over, Sasha said quietly. The authorities moved in fast. Lights, voices, control. And just like that, it ended. Hours later, silence returned. Joon stood outside. The night finally calm. "You knew how this would end," he said. Sasha stood beside him. Not close. Not distant. Just there. "I knew how it could end," she said. Joon nodded slowly. "Then, I was wrong." Sasha didn't respond. "I chose power over you," he continued. "And I made you feel like you were nothing." Silence. Joon looked at her. Not as before. Not with ego. But with clarity. "I see you now," he said quietly. Sasha finally turned. And for the first time since everything began, there was no distance in her eyes. But there was something else. Something stronger. "Too late," she said softly. That hit. But he didn't argue. "Maybe," he admitted. A pause. "But if I had the chance." He didn't finish. Didn't need to. Sasha held his gaze. Then, she stepped back. Just slightly. "I didn't come back for love," she said. Joon nodded. "I know." Another pause. "But I stayed," she added. That changed everything. Because this time, it wasn't about who she used to be. Or who he used to be. It was about what they chose next. Sasha turned to leave. Then stopped. "If you fall again," she said without turning, "I won't come back." Joon watched her. And this time, he believed her. But as she walked away, he didn't feel like he lost her. He felt like he had one last chance to become someone worth standing beside her. And somewhere ahead, Sasha allowed herself a small, quiet breath. Not forgiveness. Not yet. But something had shifted. And this time, the story between them wasn't over. If this story kept you hooked till the end, don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment below. Tell me, should Sasha give Joon another chance? Or was too late exactly what he deserved?